What would you do if you packed your bags, crossed the Atlantic, started a brand new job in a foreign country, and then got promoted twice in less than a year? And instead of celebrating, you felt pure panic. That's exactly what happened to this American working in the UK. And what should have been the proudest moment of his career turned into the most confusing experience of his life. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. When Jason left Chicago for London, he thought he understood ambition. He had survived the grind of American hustle culture, 60-hour work weeks, constant Slack notifications, performance metrics tracked down to the decimal point. In the United States, promotions were trophies you fought for. You lobbied for them. You sold yourself in meetings. You stayed late just so your boss would see your desk light still on at 9 p.m. So when he landed a job in London, he assumed the British workplace would be similar, just with different accents and more tea. He was wrong. From the first week at his new British workplace, Jason sensed something was different. People logged off at 5 p.m. sharp, not 5:37 after finishing just one more thing. 5. The office slowly emptied. Colleagues casually said, "Right then, I'm off," as if work were simply a part of life, not life itself. At first, he panicked about that too. In his mind, leaving on time felt dangerous. In the American work culture he came from, visibility was survival. In the UK job culture, productivity wasn't loud, it wasn't performative, it was quiet, steady, and understated. And yet, within 4 months, he got his first promotion. He didn't even apply. His manager, Oliver, called him into a meeting room with glass walls and a small potted plant in the corner. "Jason?" Oliver said casually, adjusting his glasses. "We're really pleased with how you've settled in. We'd like to move you up to Senior Strategy Associate." Jason blinked. "I'm sorry? Move me up?" "Yes," Oliver replied with a faint smile. "You've done well." That was it. No dramatic speech, no competitive showdown, no formal self-promotion presentation. He walked back to his desk, stunned. Back home in the US, he had fought 2 years for a promotion that never came. Here, in the British corporate culture, it arrived quietly, almost politely. His American friends congratulated him enthusiastically over FaceTime. "See? You're killing it in the UK." But something didn't sit right. Had he actually earned it? Or were expectations just lower? That thought lodged in his brain and refused to leave. Over the next few months, the American Expat UK experience became even more confusing. His team respected his ideas. They listened. Meetings weren't aggressive. Disagreements were wrapped in phrases like, "I'm not entirely convinced," or "perhaps we might consider." Back in the States, meetings felt like competitive sports. Here, it felt more like chess. And then it happened again. 9 months into the job, Oliver scheduled another quick chat. Jason's stomach tightened. He replayed every possible mistake. Did I miss a deadline? Did I misunderstand a cultural cue? Was my direct communication style too American? They sat down. Oliver cleared his throat. "We've been reviewing departmental structure," he began. "And we'd like you to take on a leadership role. Associate director." Jason stared at him. "That's another promotion." "Yes," Oliver said calmly. "You've demonstrated initiative." Jason's mind raced. In American work culture, initiative meant overextending yourself, volunteering for extra projects, answering emails at midnight. But in the UK corporate culture, initiative seemed quieter, suggesting improvements without theatrics, delivering work consistently without announcing it. Instead of joy, a wave of panic crashed over him. 2 promotions in less than a year working in the UK. Something had to be wrong. That evening, he didn't celebrate. He spiraled. Was he being set up to fail? Was this some kind of test? Was British politeness masking unspoken expectations? In the UK job culture, feedback wasn't blunt. Criticism came subtly. What if he had misread praise? He even Googled, "Why do I feel anxious after promotion?" and "Imposter syndrome, American expat UK." The more he thought about work-life balance UK versus USA, the more unsettled he felt. In America, promotions came with visible pressure. Longer hours, bigger titles, louder recognition. In the UK, his new role came with something unfamiliar: trust. And that scared him. Because if someone trusts you without making you fight for it, you start wondering if you deserve it. The following week, he almost sabotaged himself. During a leadership meeting, he overcompensated. He interrupted. He pushed too hard. He tried to prove himself the American way. High energy, assertive, fast talking. The room went quiet. Not hostile, just still. After the meeting, a colleague named Sophie approached him gently. "You all right?" she asked. "Yeah, of course," he replied quickly. She tilted her head. "You don't need to try that hard, you know. You're already doing well." That sentence hit him harder than any criticism. You don't need to try that hard. In American hustle culture, trying hard was survival. In the British workplace, competence spoke for itself. That night, he walked along the Thames, watching the lights ripple across the water. London didn't feel like a battlefield. It felt steady, ancient, older than the systems he grew up in. Maybe success here wasn't about constant upward scrambling. Maybe it was about sustainability. Over the next few months, he began observing more carefully. His British colleagues weren't lazy. They were efficient. They worked intensely during working hours. And then they stopped. They took holidays without guilt. They didn't brag about exhaustion. And yet, the company performed well. The real panic wasn't about the promotion shock UK experience. It was about identity. If he wasn't grinding himself into burnout, who was he? If success didn't require visible suffering, what did that mean about everything he'd believed? One afternoon, Oliver invited him for coffee outside the office. "You seemed unsettled when we discussed the promotion," Oliver said gently. Then, for the first time, he admitted it. "In the US, you fight for years for something like this. Here, it just happened. I keep waiting for the catch." Oliver laughed softly. "There's no catch. We promote people when they're ready. Not when they beg for it." That sentence reframed everything. Not when they beg for it. He realized that in the UK corporate culture differences he'd been experiencing, value wasn't measured by self-advertising. It was measured by consistency, reliability, and collaboration. The panic slowly turned into perspective. His second promotion in less than a year working in the UK wasn't an accident. It wasn't charity. It wasn't lowered standards. It was a different system. A system that didn't demand he prove his worth every single day. And maybe that was the most uncomfortable part of all. Because for the first time in his professional life, success didn't feel like survival. It felt stable. And stability, to someone raised on American hustle culture, can feel suspicious. But as months passed, something changed. He stopped checking email at midnight. He stopped performing busyness. He stopped apologizing for leaving at 5 o'clock. He started living. And ironically, his performance improved. The panic that once followed his UK job promotions transformed into something quieter. Confidence without chaos. 1 year after moving to London, he called his friend back in Chicago. "I think I finally get it," he said. "Get what?" "Success doesn't have to hurt." There was silence on the other end. Back in the United States, that sentence sounded almost rebellious. But in the British workplace, it was normal. His story isn't about an American failing in the UK. It's about an American unlearning. Unlearning that worth equals exhaustion. Unlearning that ambition must be loud. Unlearning that every promotion must be chased like prey. Sometimes, panic isn't a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes, it's a sign that your worldview is shifting. And maybe the real shock wasn't getting his second promotion in less than a year working in the UK. Maybe the real shock was realizing that success can be quiet. That work-life balance, UK versus USA, isn't about laziness versus ambition. It's about philosophy. In one system, you climb. In the other, you grow. And when you've only ever known climbing, growth feels terrifying. So if you found yourself in his position, promoted faster than expected, trusted sooner than you feel ready for, would you celebrate? Or would you panic? Because sometimes the biggest culture shock isn't about accents, food, or office tea breaks. It's about discovering that the rules you built your identity on were never universal. And that realization can change everything. 2 months after he stopped panicking about his second promotion in less than a year working in the UK, something unexpected happened. He was asked to mentor a new hire, an American. Her name was Rachel, fresh from New York, sharp, ambitious, already talking about career trajectory on her second day. He recognized that energy instantly. The tight smile, the constant note-taking, the subtle need to impress. On her third week, she knocked on his office door. "Can I ask you something?" she said quietly. "Sure. Is it normal here to not know exactly where you stand? No one tells me I'm doing badly, but no one's aggressively praising me either. I don't know if I should be pushing harder."